Hello, ladies. How are you doing today? I'm checking on the live video, and there I am. So what I want to do today is reduce the volume and see if you will have comments. There we go. I put the comments on. Perfect. And we're gonna, my holder is not holding very well. Okay, it doesn't work. I'm gonna put it right here. That's better. As weird as it is to like see myself live in another it's actually very distracting. Okay, I'm gonna actually put that down for now, and then when we get comments, I'll be looking into that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you're up to. What are you doing today? How are things going? How was your Thanksgiving? How did your Black Friday go? Just let me know. I want to know how you've been. I'm coming here today in my morning. If you followed me for a while, I have a morning routine where I either meditate or visualize and like do a lot of energy work. And if I have some kind of blockages energetically, I would sit and meditate and clear the blockages out, right? So actually, I am on a path of where I've transitioned to working on launching the Love Goddess soon, right? And in the process of that, I am refining the messaging of the program and who is the woman that needs to enroll in the program, and really feeling what that woman is struggling with. And as I'm going through the process of defining who the woman is, right? Who is that client, the hypothetical client who will benefit from the program the most? One of the principles of an archetype of a love goddess that I've created is a woman who is not settling for less. She's not settling for less than what she deserves. She's not overstepping her own principles. She's not settling, period, right? And I've realized, wow, I've just had a situation where I had to walk away from something again, and not settle for anything less. And I'm going to share that with you today. So if you followed me, you probably know that we are currently on the journey of finding a different studio space. We are literally bursting at the seams with our current studio, and we have 2 spaces, and we pretty much ran out of all. We need to expand, we need to create more spaces, more sets, and we have run out of any possible, like, we've maximized the space. There is no way we can create more out of what we have, right? However, in my journey of transitioning to a new location, I have realized I've gone through, it's been a process. It's been a process like anything in life. It's been a process of learning and self-learning and really getting clarity on what it is that I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to move back to June to give you a little bit of a story on what went on and why this idea even appeared. So first of all, yes, we have simply outgrown the space. I've been a tenant in our current studio for 5 years now, and there's been people who've been coming and going and coming and going. And what struck me the most is the fact that my landlord is not even considering or respecting my business or me for being there for 5 years plus. and somebody else is getting more priority and more attention and more benefit. And that has always been really strange to me and really weird, but I have taken that as a messenger that my place is not there to begin with, and I should not like take it that personal. Yet again, we are following principles. Things are not happening to us, they're happening for us. And I've always had my eyes on this beautiful big space that they have there in that building. And I always dreamed, even before we moved into our current space, I was in a smaller space, and I always wanted to be the one next door, to the bigger space with like 3 gorgeous big windows. And at first it was given, like, without like even asking me, it was given to some guy who's doing video production. And it's like, why was the space given to him? But whatever, I'll overcame this, right? Feeling, I was like, that's really strange. Why wouldn't I be informed? I actually let her know that this is something I want. I need bigger space. I want this. Recently, probably about 2 years ago, she given that space to another photographer. Like, this didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense. I've been there for 5 years, and she's not even asking me what I want. So not only that person has become a really negative influence within the whole building itself, it's someone who's bringing a lot of negativity and vibes, and created rumors, and created these sides where like she's talking bad stuff about one thing and one tenant, and then then they turning around, and like there's this whole mess and this whole negativity that came out of it. I usually stay away from any of that. I'm a team player. I work with people, right? But at some point, we've been we've gotten into a situation where it somehow in some way it has turned around us, and I was like, that's it, this is the last drop. Like, not only I'm not being honored with my desires for a bigger space altogether, I'm being ignored and not being appreciated for my business of 5 years, but on top of that, there's this new tenant who has literally drove away many of the other tenants because she's a really negative bitch creating rumors, and I don't understand how she has any clients. This doesn't make any sense. She's like that very sticky, that negative person that I just don't understand. Doesn't matter. It's not it's up to God. It's not up to me, like whatever. However, the situation that we have experienced that kind of turned around against us during the summer back in June has really put me an idea in my head that this is that time that I need to move on. I need to just, not only we ran out of space to expand more, the landlord is putting certain limitations on how we run business, our growth and expansion altogether within the business model that we are creating and growing, right? So it has really was the last little bell and call for me, like, okay, I'm going to start looking for another space. So in a process, I have found the space, and it was great, and I was excited about it, and it was a big expansion. Like, it was triple the rent that we are paying now, right? However, we put the letter on interest on that space, and it's been 3 months, right, from June, and nothing has changed. Like, there's not even no progress moved. People, there's no lease signed. The project is not moving along. And on top of that, I have realized this is not the area for my business and, the idea and the luxury experience that I want to provide for you women, right? And it's right next to, even though it's downtown Norfolk, it's like very close to the area where the city of Norfolk decided to give bums shelter. And I said to myself, you know what? Like, I'm not settling for this. This is not okay. I don't like this. And I scratched this whole idea, and that's been 3 months into that, right? We've been on and off about the conversation. So, since June, so probably in September or October, I've decided, you know what, this is not okay. I'm not moving forward with this space. I'm no longer interested. It's not moving along. Something is blocking it from moving forward. And altogether, I decided, okay, we're not going to be in Norfolk anymore. Period. I want Virginia Beach, right? Virginia Beach Boulevard. Guess what? So I started looking. We have found this other space. Actually, you know the story. We have found this other space that was perfect fit for the amount of space, the size. Location was not bad. And I've already started being excited, and has really allowed myself to get like connected and attached to it and dream big. And again, like there's this providence from the universe, something like put a block in front of me and said, no, this is not going to happen for you. Because, the owner comes back to me, like without even meeting me or asking me questions, like his wife did research on its own, found our boudoir website, said we are doing porn, and the owner calls me and saying, calls my husband, because like I delegated this, like all the technical and lease signing and all of that onto him, because he's like familiar with floor plans and all of that. And and he called him, we're not leasing you this space because you guys are fucking doing porn, and like we're not gonna tolerate this, blah blah, that nonsense. So you remember that story when I was like on that day when I found out, I was so devastated, heartbroken, and like broke down crying, because I have created all these dreams, desires, and it was hard for me to let that go, right? But I did. And after all, I've actually in the next 3 days, I've driven by that space, and I have realized how not perfect that space was for us in the first place. How far it was from the downtown of Virginia Beach, and it was just not as good as for some reason I thought it was. And so so I took it as a sign, okay, no problem. There is something better that's available for us, right? So I've overcome this, right? And then I went to Boston, and I had this trip, and before that I've kind of eyeballed this one other space that's off of Rosemont Road, and it's very like kind of an invisible space, also on Virginia Beach Boulevard. And I went to Boston, and I have given, like, I was like, I need a break. I'm like, it's just too much going on, too emotional. Like, I need to set aside. I was also traumatized by the situation. I was afraid again, that previous owner told us that we are doing porn. Who gives me this like idea that this new other space is going to be okay with us having a boudoir studio there, right? How weird thing to worry about. Anyway, I was like, okay, I'm gonna overcome this. I came back from Boston, and it was like actually the worst trip ever, because like I was so tired, and I was like, okay, I need a break from this. And my accountability coach, Emily, she's like, okay, what are you working on? I was like, okay, I need to get back to these Rosemont people, and really like present them with, and it was a scary step for me, because like I just had heard this no from previous people, right? And I did. I was like, okay, I'm doing it anyway. I'm gonna overstep the sphere, like just not even pay attention to the sphere. It's gonna be there like that, like, but just gonna do it. I'm gonna follow I'm gonna give him an idea of what it is that I'm planning for this space, that it's gonna be a Love Goddess Women's Center, that we're gonna do women's empowerment events, and we're gonna do gatherings, and we're gonna do dance classes, and we're gonna do parties, and we're gonna do and it's gonna also be a photography studio all in one place, right? And so when I presented this idea, the owner and the realtor, they were like, oh my God, we want you in our space. We want you so bad. You're fitting in with the other, it's in a shopping center. There is a fitness studio, a massage place. And they told me, like, oh, we want you here so bad, we would love for you to like be part of our like the whole shopping center with us. And I was like, wow, like that's a really comforting response after what I've just went through, after what I've been experiencing with the previous building. And I was like, okay, well, that I feel it, it's in my heart, I feel it, that this is the place. I'm like, finally my turmoil, and we are like June, so we are now November 27th, right? November 27th, we are now 5 months into this whole thing, right? We are 5 months into this whole thing. At this point, I walked away from two buildings. One intentionally, the other one was set up, right? So we are at building number 3, and we're like looking the floor plans, everything, there's a bonus room, this and that. And then they told us, well, there is a second, we are going to divide the space between you and the other tenant, and we're going to divide it like where half of the garage will be for on you, half of the so they're going to get like pretty much equal side, and we're going to get the equal side. So I counted on this, I counted on certain areas to be ours, and I already designed the floor plan in my head and how it's going to function, and then the front room will be more of a community room, right? And yeah, we got excited, and we were like, okay, we're putting the letter of interest on it. And then the owner gets in a picture. So before that, the conversation was with the realtor, which I fell in love with. He's the most amazing guy. And the owner steps in and says, whoa, we are working with this other tenants, they're catering company, they are taking over half the space. And then he's like, well, you can't use this bonus room as your own. It will be a common space because there's AC units on it, blah, 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 all that crap. It's like, okay, fine, it's going to be a storage room. I'm going to have to sacrifice and step over myself. And yet again, this feeling of like, why is someone else more important than our business? We're going to pay just as much money, but why is the catering company more important? So that really hurt. And on top of that, then we're moving forward. And it's like, okay, you're not getting a part of the garage too. They're getting part of the garage. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is not okay. I'm just not happy that like we are being cut. Like there's this place that I thought was perfect, and we are being cut all these pieces that I thought I was going to use like out, and I'm going to settle for this. So, but everything else seems like, it's going to work out, it's still going to work out. So then I realized, okay, well, if this, like, since they are taking over the garage, I seriously I only have more space for a photo studio alone, but not for the community space, right? So I'm like, as much as I don't want to, like, this is where settling comes in. We see how it's creeping in, like in your life situations, you're like trying to adjust for someone else's plan, and it doesn't work. It never works. And there's so many red flags already. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to bend myself and my vision and my idea, but we're going to make it work. And then no matter what, like there's this other space that's right next, like it's, yes, you have to walk across the street, but it's right there. Like I can rent that space. I just need a few more months just to get everything situated, like set up love coaching program so I can pay for it, right? So, and I'm like, okay, it's all gonna work out. This, like, it's maybe even better this way. Like, this space is gonna be photography studio. This space is gonna be community space because it is set up that way. I just need the owner to sign the first right of refusal, meaning that I can't take on this right now, but if someone comes in and puts an offer on that place, I have the first right to say, no, I don't want it. That's all I asked. There is nothing bad for the owner. If not, it's only good for the owner that I'm showing the interest in that space, right? I'm showing that my intention to, like, why wouldn't he work with me on that, right? So I'm all during that time, I'm having this idea in my mind that, okay, fine, we're going to split. This would be a photography space and this would be the community space later on. All of that time in my mind, I'm thinking that. And And so my husband's been spent a lot of time on the phone call with him, talking floor plans, all that. Then we discovered the bathroom that had a shower that I was planning to use for my photo sessions is somehow not ADA compliant. So they would have to destroy the bathroom. So we are being taken away a bathroom. We already took away a bonus room, the garage room. Now they're taking our bathroom. I was like, fuck this. This is not okay. I'm not okay. There's so many red flags. Every time I speak to the owner, it's a no, no, no. Why? Like, I'm just really pissed off. And at this point, there's lots of red flags. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to overstep over myself and settle. But I need this last piece. I need this last piece from the owner where we will sign that fucking lease for them. But do you see where it started off really, really good, and it ended up where like I'm overstepping my limits here and my ideas and my whole vision, right? And so I'm like, okay, we're gonna split this 2 areas. It's not gonna work as original, but maybe it's better that way, but maybe it's not. I don't know. But I need this other thing from the owner where we're gonna sign the first right of refusal. And you know, I was like, okay, honey, step away from any conversation. I will lead conversation because I'm more badass than you are, and I'm gonna put my foot down. Like, I need it done this way, and there's no other way. So he stepped aside. I'm like emailing back and forth with the owner, and I said, okay, this is like, we're ready. These are our checks with insane amount of money that you want for the security deposit and first and last month of rent. Was like shitting my pants there. And the only thing I need from you is to sign those 2 documents simultaneously. I'll sign the lease and I'll sign that first right of refusal. That's all I'm asking. Well, how can we make this happen? He comes back and says no. And this was the last. I was like, wow. Like, there's no reason for him to say no. If he keeps saying no along the way, why would I say yes? Why would I say yes if it's all I'm hearing from him is no, 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 and no? There's no reason for me to say yes. And at this point, it's really in my face that universe is saying, no, don't sign it. This is not the right place. This is like, don't go for it. Like, there's so many blocks. Like, these are your red flags that you keep ignoring. These are your red flags that you keep ignoring. So I'm like, oh, fuck. You know what? Like, I didn't reply to him. He said, it's not going to be possible. I'm like, this, everything tells me not to do it, everything. And I was in such turmoil for that one day. I booked 2 psychic appointments that day. And I have realized that I've been settling, and it's just, and my whole vision that I had for this to be a unified community space has dissipated. And it's like, even defeated the purpose why I'm even doing this. It defeated the purpose why I'm even doing this. And you know what? And then I have this one girl. She's absolutely amazing. The first girl, the psychic, she kind of showed me like, hey, don't settle, because if you settle, you like continue learning the lesson of settling, and you're gonna repeat that lesson, and nothing good's gonna come out of it, and you know, this and that. So I'm like, yes, I'm feeling it in my heart. It's like, it's not okay. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm also not dealing with an owner who is an asshole who keeps saying no to me. Like, if I'm signing the lease, like, do I really want to deal for 5 years with an owner who is an asshole? I don't think so. And that bitter taste that they given this half of the space that I wanted to another tenant altogether was not okay for me, right? So all of that are my red flags of not to do it. I still couldn't overcome that I'm not being appreciated. Just like in my current space, I'm not being appreciated. I'm not being appreciated in this new space, right? Do I want this? No, it's repeating the same story. Why do I want this? Like, my lesson is move forward, right? And so I came back to him the next morning, and I have this really good girl who is a psychic. And she has channeled that, like, don't go for it. It's not going to be successful. There is some deeper deeper hidden things that you don't know about it. He already kind of gave you half of the space, like, or even less, and that's not what you even asked for. It's not going to be successful. It's not going to be like, and the owner is an asshole and you shouldn't go for it. So she could read people right through them, and I was like, this is exactly what I needed to hear from you. Thank you for confirming my decision. I was questioning it until then. And she really helped me to confirm my decision. And I literally just emailed back and said, we're not proceeding with this. We're not doing this. I walked away. I did not settle. I walked away and I did not settle. And that was building number 3 that we walked away from. And now I'm like, too much. We've gone through too much. I at least need a break. I also need to focus on other things. All that has been a learning experience for me. Every time we walked away from a place, I have cleared more and more of my vision. I have zeroed in more and more of my vision, what this is all about. I know exactly what it is about, and I'm not going to settle or separate or divide. I have also realized that, the space that we were given this last time is simply not going to cut it, and I need to expand the amount of space altogether. And I also need to expand my budget. So it's not going to be 3 times my rent, but it's going to be 10 times my rent. And that is like, as I was scary at that time, now I'm like ready to scream, like, but I also know that it's going to come to life one way or another. So I'm just taking a break to like really breathe. I'm really breathing. This is building number 3 that fell through the cracks. That is my story of non-settling for anything less than where I didn't feel it. I just know the difference when things flow into your life and you're not fighting them. They just fall in pieces. And that is when it's all organized and the universe organized for you, for that particular building to be your own, right? Well, these are not like, we've gone through too much struggles and lots of red flags. And when there are lots of red flags like that, that's not universe. That's like, it's telling you, don't go for it. It's not your thing. It's not your place. You got to wait some more. You got to be more patient. And so what I did, this is what I did. And we are back at square one again. And yes, it's very unsettling. And yes, it is not what I thought I would be at this time of year. I thought we would be already moved on because we started the process 6 months ago, right? But the reason why I'm sharing this with you, so you truly understand and start seeing those red flags in your life, whether it's the relationship that you're going for, or something with your work, that you keep settling and overstepping your own values or your own vision of what's available to you or what's possible to you, and you shouldn't settle, right? You shouldn't settle for anything than your vision. You were given this vision for a reason. That means it's available to you. It's already happened on the in the invisible realm. So what you do now, if you settle for less than, you accept that you are going to only go for halfway. You will accept that you will be okay with just only half your vision. And I said, no, I'm not okay with only half my vision. I'm not okay. I'm not okay that my desires and my feelings are not being prioritized. I'm not okay that my business is not as valuable as the catering company's business. I'm not okay with the fact that I'm being said no on 5 different occasions. And how am I supposed to say yes to that? And anything that you do in life, or business, or anything anywhere, is an energy of exchange. If you are with other people, it's an equal energy of exchange. So the value that you're giving should be equal to the value that you're receiving. And if the value is not matching up, walk away. Don't settle, because you're not on a journey to settle. You're on a journey to be epic, right? And epic is the only possibility for me. Epic is the only possibility for me. So why would it be only half epic for you? right? So don't settle. This is my lesson. This is my journey that I'm currently coming and overgoing, and I'm like taking a break and yet again like going back in my shelter and waiting it out until I know the time is right and things are still coming my way, and even better things will be available. But I'm not persistent in the sense that I'm like going through the walls and breaking the walls with lots of hard work. That's actually the wrong way to do this. That's actually a wrong way to do this. If you're putting effort into putting something like, I always hated all these hustlers, like all these people who tell you to hustle, hustle, hustle. Hustling not going to get you the results even closely to the ones that when you allow for the universe and divine to happen and intervene for you, right? So what I'm looking for is the flow. When things are working out, you gotta allow them to work out. You gotta allow them to work out and just keep on being open, and it's gonna come to you. Is way easier than you think it will. So sharing my story of non-settling with you, so you can ask yourself a question: how does that apply to me? What can I learn from this in my life experience? How can I walk away over and over and over again and again and again until this is not just it's a yes or it's a maybe, but until it's hell yes. That is my life principle. Until it's a hell fucking yes, it's a no. And so far, yeah. There was this one building that was a hell yes for me. I thought that the universe has stepped in and said, nope, not for you. And I've taken that. But until you says it's a hell yes, until you 100% satisfied, don't settle for anything less than that. Do you understand? Do you understand that? Okay. All right. Thank you, my love. Thank you for everyone who are joining me now live and who will be watching this replay. If you're watching this replay, put down in the comments that it's a replay that you are watching. Otherwise, tune in at 12 p.m. for another live video with me. Thank you. Bye.